So we're going to practice with converting some imperial units. This is going to use the same method that we used last day. Remember where I taught you dimensional analysis? We're going to use a similar method for this. Okay. So the length of your index finger is about 0.25 feet long. Now, first of all, is feet an appropriate unit of measurement to measure the length of your foot or the length of your finger?
No.
Not really.
You should use inches.
You should probably use inches, right? So we're going to use dimensional analysis to convert feet to inches. Okay, so we want to take this and somehow convert it to inches. So, just like we did last day, we start with 0.25 feet. FT just stands for feet. It's a faster way of writing it. Put it over 1, and we're going to multiply by a conversion factor. To create that conversion factor, we need to know the relationship between feet and inches.
12 inches of a foot.
Yeah, right? There are 12 inches in 1 foot. Okay, so I take that relationship and I put one part or one side of that equation either as the top or the bottom of that fraction, and then do the same with the other. So where should feet go if I want to cancel them?
On the bottom.
On the bottom, right? So I put a foot on the bottom, and then therefore 12 inches has to go on top. And you'll notice that I have feet on the top and feet on the bottom, so they will cancel. And I'll end up with basically just 0.25 times 12. Right, which is a quarter of 12.
This doesn't seem very complicated.
Which gives you how much?
3.
3, yeah. Basically it's 12 divided by 4, right? Quarter of 12 is 12 divided by 4. So that would be 3 inches. Does that seem reasonable? 3 inches?
Yeah.
For the length of your finger? It's the length of, I measured it. It's the length of my finger. Maybe my finger's a little longer than yours. The distance from Chetwynd to Prince George, and this is accurate because I did the conversions, but the distance from Chetwynd to Prince George is 1,019,040 feet. Seems odd to measure a distance like that in feet. What would be more appropriate?
Miles.
We're talking imperial, so we have to use miles, right? So we need to go feet, to miles. MI stands for miles. So, like we usually do, we start with 1,019,040 feet. Put it over 1. Is there a relationship that we have from feet to miles?
There's like a certain amount of feet in a mile.
Yeah, there are a certain number of feet in a mile. Do you have it from that chart that we had just previously?
You go to yards.
I have miles to yards, but I don't have miles to feet. So we're going to have to do 2 and 1. The video kind of told you a hint, but we'll just use the table. Okay? So we're going to go, instead of feet straight to miles, we're going to make a detour. We're going to go feet to yards, and then yards to miles. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's do feet to yards first. How many feet in a yard?
3.
3, right? So 3 feet equals 1 yard. How do I create my fraction? I should move that down.
3 on the bottom and 1 on top.
Yeah, 3 feet. I want the feet on the bottom, right, and the yard on top. So that way my feet will cancel out. And again, if I just did my calculations right now, my answers would be in yards. But I don't want to stop there. I want to get to miles. Okay, so let's think about yards to miles. What's the relationship there? How many yards in a mile?
There's 1,760 yards.
1,760 yards. So how do I create this? I keep drawing it too high. 1 mile equals 1,760 yards.
You want the yards on the bottom.
I want the yards on the bottom. And miles on top. Good.
How do you put a mile? Is it MI?
Yeah, MI. You can't put M because M means meter, right? Alright, so do my yards cancel?
Yeah.
1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. Looks like they do. Good. And now I just multiply the tops and multiply the bottoms and then divide, right? So the top will be 1,019,040 times 1 times 1. So that can just stay the same. And then the bottom will be 1 times 1760. And again, you can ignore the ones because you multiply by 1 and it doesn't change anything. So what does that work out to be? Remember to multiply the bottom first and then do your division.
So for the bottom it equals to 5,280.
5,280?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's 1019040 up top. So divide those, and what do we get?
193.
193? Exactly?
Yeah.
Miles. Which Google Maps agrees with, I think. Pretty sure, yeah.
Well, Google says
Does that seem reasonable? 193 miles from here to Prince?
it's about right.
Yeah. It's crazy that it takes like 3.5 hours to go that far.